In September of 2007, just 6 months after the release of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, Bethesda announced something that none of us had been expecting. They were currently developing a new PSP game called The Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion. And if you're like me, then upon hearing that shocking news, your mind was thoroughly blown. Seriously, the idea of taking the Elder Scrolls experience on the go just sounded amazing. I mean, sure, I didn't have a PSP at the time, but that was definitely enough for me to want to get one. Or at least, beg my parents for one. However, as the months passed and E3 had come and gone, we heard nothing more about this game. No trailers, no screenshots, not even any weird Mountain Dew tie-in products. So what happened to it? And more importantly, what was it to begin with? Well, today I decided we could discover exactly that. So here are the 5 things that you didn't know about Oblivion on the PSP. The Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion may be an Elder Scrolls game, but that doesn't mean it was being developed by Bethesda Game Studios, nor any other studio owned by Bethesda Softworks. Instead, this game was being created by the masterminds at Climax Studios. Although considering that this game was cancelled, I think a more accurate name would be Anti-Climax Studios. Wait, where are you going? Well anyway, while you probably weren't surprised that this game wasn't made by the Todd himself, what may shock you is that production for this game started in 2005. A whole year before main entry Oblivion hit store shelves, which means that these guys at Disappointment Studios had the opportunity to play an early version of Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Lucky bastards. Actually, you know what? That gives me a good idea. Hi, Mr. Todd Howard. I'm with Cantina Game Studios, and I would like to work with you guys on an Elder Scrolls 6 spin-off game. So I was thinking if you could just send me over a few copies of TS6 for review purposes, that'd be great. Todd? You there, Todd? Huh. I'd say that went pretty well. Despite the PSP Oblivion game being called Oblivion, it wasn't actually like the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion at all. Really, the only thing that was similar was the menu screens and, the Oblivion part. I mean, for one, this game didn't even take place in Cyrodiil. Instead, it was set in High Rock with the intention of showing us how the Oblivion crisis was affecting the rest of Tamriel, which honestly sounds pretty cool. I mean, it would have been nice to play Oblivion on the go, but a chance to get a whole new Elder Scrolls storyline does sound pretty exciting. However, don't get too disappointed just yet because the gameplay was gonna be pretty different as well, and not necessarily in a good way, especially when you realize that this game was not gonna be an open world RPG. Instead, it was a linear action game, focused almost exclusively on dungeon diving and generic combat. Honestly, I think the best way to describe this game would be to compare it to Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, except, if you took out all the physics stuff and also the kicking, which really doesn't make it sound very good because the kicking was the best part of Dark Messiah. However, there was one thing that this game had clearly improved on from Oblivion and Skyrim, and that is that you aren't simply a hero beloved by all. As a matter of fact, there appear to have been quite a few people who not only don't believe you're capable of doing the task that you said you did, but even people who hate and defame you. Like this guy is trying to convince everybody that it was him and not you who saved the day. The jerk. Should pound his face. Yeah, if we could. Unfortunately, you can't actually attack your allies in this game, which is disappointing because this guy really deserves it. I'll get you next time, you stupid mud crab. There are a lot of interesting things that I've learned about this game during my research. However, by far the most surprising and strangest one has gotta be that there's actually another mobile Oblivion spin-off game that goes by the same name, The Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion, for the mobile phone. Yes, this is a real thing, and as you can probably tell, it's total garbage. However, in the case of this Oblivion spin-off game, the story is actually based off the same story from TES4 Oblivion, but that doesn't mean that they are similar at all, which you can probably tell just by looking at it. Also, apparently in this game, when the Emperor gets assassinated, you decide that the sneakiest thing to do is to put on his clothes, so that way you look like the Emperor in an attempt to not get assassinated. What? Look, this game is crap. Let's just move on. Okay, so I know that I just said that the last thing was the most surprising thing that I've learned about this game, but I was exaggerating a bit because this next thing is actually the most surprising. As a matter of fact, it's so surprising that when I found out about it, I decided to make this video. And that surprising thing is that you can actually play parts of Oblivion on the PSP right now. That's right, I'm not joking. There's a playable version of this game somewhere on the internet. That's crazy. Now, with that being said, you should be aware that it isn't easy to get a hold of this game, and there is barely enough content there to even call it a demo. It's really more like a proof of concept, honestly. However, you can still check it out if you want. I'm not gonna stop you. Or will I? No, I won't, but the FBI might. Now, the last thing that you probably didn't know about this game is why the hell was it canceled in the first place? And guess what? I know the answer. And that answer is, nobody really knows. What do you mean that's a crap answer? Alright, fine. There are some rumors, and I have my own theories. Now, first off, the prevailing rumor as to why this got canceled is that it was just taking more time and money than had originally been predicted. Which makes sense because that is why most games get canceled, honestly. But personally, I think there's more to it than just that. Because after doing my own research, and having played through the parts of this game that are available, I think I have a few more reasons to add onto the list. And my first reason is that the concept for this game just honestly isn't that great. I mean, it's not bad, and might have even been pretty enjoyable when it was finished. However, the developer demo doesn't really demonstrate anything particularly exciting. And for a video game company that wants to be assured that their investment is worth it, I think this game would seem like a bit of a risk. I mean, really the big selling point is that it had Elder Scrolls in the title, and at the time, that still didn't mean a whole lot. I mean, if you were gonna make an Elder Scrolls game back then, you really needed it to stand on its own 2 feet. And I don't think this game really did, to be honest. However, the biggest reason for why I think this game was ultimately scrapped was the fact that the PSP simply wasn't doing that great, especially in Western markets, and considering the Elder Scrolls appeal to the West the most, this game probably wouldn't have sold well, and I think Bethesda was aware of that. I mean, I know that I just said in the beginning of the video that I would have been interested in getting a PSP in order to play this game, but the truth is, would I actually really have? Honestly, probably not. And I think that most people felt the same way. The PSP wasn't doing well, and this game probably wasn't gonna change that. So in the end, I think Bethesda made the smart decision to cancel it. I know if I was in their shoes, I probably would have too. And that's why I think we never got this game. It's too bad though, because I would have loved to have seen the full product. However, if you are interested in seeing what is available, but don't want the hassle of trying to get it running yourself, then I recommend just hitting that subscribe button, because I plan on uploading a full playthrough of this game next Friday. So I'll see you guys then, and goodbye.